Yes, guys, a very beautiful evening from wherever you are. This is Political Room in Kenya and the world. My name is Moses Utieno, and I just want to hope that you are, doing well, you are progressing well, you are progressive in whatever you are doing. My name is Moses Utieno, and in the political room today, we want to talk about a raft of issues that are in the public domain. We're going to talk about many issues that affect the daily lives of people, and of course, there is that case which happened in Suba South, where the widows and the disabled were assembled at Sindo Stadium, and they were to be given some empowerment in terms of money, food, among other items that were listed, they were promised. And so, good to see you from wherever you are. My name is Moses Utieno once again, and let me just take you through what is trending and, of course, what is going on in the Republic of Kenya. Of course, we have the politics of ODM, we have the politics of DCP, we have the politics of UDA, and I think that is something that we have to align with. Earlier on, there was a footage that I saw where Cecil Mbarire, the governor for Embu, I think, was, forcing Governor Mutahi Kahiga. She was kind of forcing Governor Mutahi Kahiga to say two-term in a gathering, which the governor didn't say. So, plus many other issues. Welcome to the show. This show will take many minutes. All right. So we cross over to, let's look at what is happening in the different parts of the world and also in this country. This is what Caleb Amisi is saying. Money strategy will beat tribal comfort zones. Money strategy will beat tribal comfort zones. Caleb Amisi alleges what will happen in 2027. Saboti MP Caleb Amisi has sent a strong message to politicians preparing for the 2027 general election, warning that elections are no longer won through tribal backing alone. He said resources, planning, and personal drive now play a bigger role in determining who wins and who loses. So according to Caleb Amisi, money strategy will beat tribal comfort zones. Money strategy are the only tools that will beat tribal comfort zones. Okay? So that is there. So Amisi noted that this reality applies to all electoral positions from MCA, governor, senator, president. So it is about strategy. Okay. It is about strategy. Uganda presidential elections ran peacefully. Observers speak after Bobi Wine cries foul play. African Union observers, together with COMESA and IGAD, said voting in Uganda's presidential election was largely peaceful at the stations they visited. They reported no evidence of ballot stuffing during the observation, particularly at closing time. Former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan, leading the AU mission, noted that the team observed only a few polling stations. However, this showed orderly conduct and proper handling of ballots, and that is according to AU under Goodluck Jonathan. Good evening from wherever you are. Join me in this particular live where we are dissecting the different situations across the globe, what is happening in Kenya and of course other parts of the world. This is Political Room and welcome to the show if you are joining us now. Now, a fresh diplomatic and media storm has erupted in East Africa after Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni reportedly blocked a Kenyan media house from airing opinion polls, okay, related to Uganda's political landscape. And of course, that is a story that is here, and we continue to do it. Museveni blocks Kenyan media house from airing polls, okay. As the dust settles, the incident has opened a broader conversation about media regulation in East Africa. Okay, and why did Museveni block that Kenyan media from airing the polls, which Bobi Wine is disputing? Mutahi Kahiga indirectly endorses William Ruto's re-election in 2027. Now, Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga sidestepped calls to openly back President Ruto's 2027 re-election, differing to the crowd support. Instead, his cautious stance stems from past loyalty to Rigathi Gachagua, leaving him straddling both political camps. Local leaders urged Kahiga to clarify his position, but he maintained he remains in UDA and focused on serving Nyeri residents. Okay. Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga stopped short of openly declaring support for President William Ruto's re-election bid after Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire pressed him on the matter. That is a story that is there. What the hell now? Okay, we are looking at the political situation, economic situation, social situations in Kenya and around the world. Mambo poa sana. Tabitha Jelimu, uko haje? It is my hope and pleasure that you are in steadfast health, you are good in health, and it is my take that yes, sasa poa. Namuona hapa Paris Masharia, thank you so much for joining the show. This is the political room, and of course we are looking at even what is happening around or across the world. My name is Moses Otieno, and let's Tabitha Jelimo, I can see you. Thank you so much for joining the show. Namuona hapa Jed Awino, thank you so much. Jed Awino, thank you so much for joining the show. We are looking at what is happening globally and in 254, that is Kenya. And good to stay, continue staying, ensure that you stay in this channel. And once again, I want to appreciate you and thank you that because without you, this channel cannot be where it is. It is because of your support that we've reached where we are. Eugene Mishira, hello too. How are you doing? I can see here Tabitha Jelimo, mambo tena, mambo poa sana. All right, let's look at this again. Oburu, okay, ODM is the biggest party in Kenya and we cannot be given peanuts. We must get our fair share. Oburu Odinga now says this. Sema jina yangu. Tabitha Jelimo, thank you so much. Good to see you. Mimi ni mtoto. Thank you so much mtoto. Asante sana. Thank you so much. Karibu sana katika show. So Oburu Odinga is saying that like this, ODM party leader Oburu Odinga has sent a strong message ahead of the 2027 elections, declaring that his party is no longer settling for less in coalition talks. He made it clear that as Kenya's biggest political force, the party will demand its fair share in future negotiations with the ruling UDA party. And this is what Oburu said. Let me quote, "Our party is the biggest party in the country and we cannot be given peanuts. We must get our fair share," he said. All right. Let me see again. Mtoto wa Paris. Okay, mtoto wa Paris. Okay, mama anaitwa Paris. Politics is a very dirty game. Okay, it's not dirty. Politics is not dirty. Politics is not dirty. If you play it nicely. Kalonzo and Wamalwa hold parallel meeting to Gachagwa's DCP meeting. All right, let's look at this. Kalonzo Musyoka met leaders from Murang'a County at his Nairobi home on Saturday, that is today. He spoke about justice, leadership, and accountability in public life. He said Kenya needs courage and honesty to face hard times. That is Kalonzo Musyoka. So the Wiper leader described the talks as open and hopeful. He said the voices of ordinary people must guide national choices. That is Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka. So that is there. This is what he posted in social media account. This afternoon I hosted a delegation from Murang'a County for an honest and forward-looking conversation about the challenges our people are facing. So Kalonzo met Murang'a residents in a bid to consolidate his votes ahead of the 2027 general elections. All right. All right. President Ruto to UDA. President Ruto. This is what President Ruto is now saying. UDA will work with other parties to move Kenya forward. UDA will work with other parties to move Kenya forward. That is President William Ruto. So the UDA party is nurturing friendship and collaboration with other political parties to form strong and inclusive political outfit ahead of the 2027 general elections. President William Ruto said under the broad-based government, Kenyans are working together and ensuring that no one is left behind. He said national unity addresses the biggest problem Kenya's faced over the years, fair sharing of the country's resources. That is William Samoei Ruto. Let me know where you are watching this live. My name is Moses Otieno and this is the political room. All right. This is the political room, and let me know where you are watching. Let me make quick shouts. Of course, we have Yatabeta Jelimo. Thank you so much. Paris, thank you so much. Masharia, Eugene, thank you so much. Jade Awino, asante sana for the joining the show, plus many others who are in the show. We are looking at the political room, and in the political room, we're gonna talk about a raft of issues ranging from national to international. All right. Congratulations. Museveni wins 7th term in Uganda. Museveni wins or won the 7th time in Uganda. Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has secured a 7th term in office. The country's electoral commission announced today, 17th on Saturday. Museveni, representing the National Resistance Movement NRM, won 71.65% votes. So Museveni won 75% of the total vote. Were the elections in Uganda free and fair? Were the elections in Uganda free and fair? Let me know in the comment section, were the elections in Uganda free and fair? Because earlier on we saw Bobi Wine, lamenting, escaping, or rather, in a bid, he was to be arrested, but then he escaped. So Bobi Wine had given out what do you call it? His statements. Bobi Wine had given out his statements, and according to Bobi Wine, the elections were a sham. The elections were a sham. The elections were a sham. So I don't know whether Uganda conducted a credible election, because this is an election where the main contender, Bobi Wine, was arrested. So how do you arrest your competitor in an election? How do you arrest your competitor in an election? So I think the elections from Uganda were not free and fair. I think they were not just credible. I do think that the elections in Uganda were never free, fair, and verifiable. So Museveni was declared the winner by the Ugandan Electoral Commission, and Museveni continues to steer the country the way he says. Malala misses Gachagua DCP retreat raises questions as defections and silence grip the party. Now, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua gathered senior leaders of his Democracy for Citizens Party in Mombasa for a closed retreat this week. The meeting aimed to set strategies, strengthen networks, and plan early moves as Gachagua rebuilds its national political machine ahead of hard tests expected in coming months. Now, eyes quickly have turned to what was missing. Cleophas Malala, the DCP deputy party leader, was not seen at the retreat. His absence stood out because he has been one of Gachagua's most visible allies since his dramatic exit from UDA last year, when political tensions around loyalty began rising. Where is Cleophas Malala? Where is Cleophas Malala? Cleophas Malala of late has been missing in DCP. What happened to Cleophas Malala? Why has Cleophas Malala gone silent? Hatumuoni Cleophas Malala akiongea sana katika chama cha DCP. Cleophas Malala, where is he? Where is Cleophas Malala? Have they or has he developed troubles or problems with Gachagua? We need to be told by DCP, where is Cleophas Malala? The whole world saw the efforts of Cleophas Malala in the last by-elections, which happened last year. Cleophas Malala did deliver votes and candidates. They won seats. DCP won seats in Western Kenya, courtesy of Cleophas Malala. And today Gachagua was having a meeting with a DCP meeting with officials, top officials of that party. And Cleophas Malala was missing in action. Not only today, in very many events, Cleophas Malala of late has been missing. In fact, ever since we started this year, Cleophas Malala has been missing. Where is Cleophas Wahungu Malala? Where is Cleophas Malala? And Cleophas Malala has been very vocal, one of the vocal leaders in the country. One of the vocal leaders in the country and in the DCP party. But now he is missing in action. He is gone too silent. Whether he is sick, whether he is unwell or well, or is just avoiding Gachagua, or he has defected from DCP. Where is Cleophas Malala? And the Kenyans have been demanding to know the whereabouts of Cleophas Wahungu Malala, the former Kakamega senator. Cleophas Malala cheered Rigathi Gachagua last year. And most importantly, when Gachagua was facing, impeachment, and when he was impeached, when Gachagua was impeached, it was Cleophas Wahungu Malala who stood beside him, who stood with him, who made sure that he gains composure. So when Gachagua needed someone to lean on him, it was Cleophas Malala. But now Cleophas Malala has gone silent, and his whereabouts are not known. We don't know where is Cleophas Malala. Politically, he hasn't showed up. He hasn't showed up politically. And so speculations are very high. Speculations are high. Right? That issue of Cleophas Malala is causing a lot of havoc and headache in the country. This one happened. I happened to see it. this hilarious man, there is a man who, remember, hugged a tree for 90 hours. But there is a footage, a video footage, which clearly shows the opposite. The man did not hug a tree for 90 hours. At some point, the man could be seen smoking cigarette, and also at another point, the man could be seen running to go hug a tree if someone was coming. A viral hilarious video has cast doubt on a 90-hour tree hugging challenge by a Meru man after he was allegedly caught only hugging the tree when people were watching. Simon Maraurau, who is 62 years, from Naari in Meru County, joined the challenge inspired by Truvena Muthoni, who previously completed a 72-hour marathon. The hilarious video shows Simon relaxing near the tree, smoking and chatting while admitting he would only resume hugging when passers-by approached. A hilarious video, of course, is showing the man only hugging a tree when passers-by are approaching. The only person who hugged the tree successfully for 72 hours was Truvena Muthoni, who was now the Guinness, whose name is in the Guinness Book of Records. So she was approved, Truvena Muthoni was approved by the Guinness World Record for hugging a tree, having hugged a tree for 72 hours without eating, without going to the loo, all right? And kudos to Truvena Muthoni. But we need to have a conversation about those who are faking to hug trees. Truvena Muthoni was doing it for climate. And I think she did well. She did very well. So that was very shameful indeed. That was very shameful. Okay, let me look at what is in the newspapers. Let me look at what is in the newspapers. Let me look at the Star. Yes, welcome. Let me look at the Star. The Star newspaper. Ruto eyes doubling its 2022 votes in 2027. He said the ruling party would mobilize more aggressively and expand its national reach ahead of the next polls. So that is according to the Star. Ruto eyes doubling his 2022 votes in 2027. And of course, that is something that is there. Decades in power, Museveni wins 7th term. Decades in power, Museveni wins his 7th term. This is the Star newspaper. Museveni's long tenure has been enabled by constitutional changes that altered the democratic landscape in Uganda, removing term limits in 2005 and later scrapping the age limit in 2017, effectively opened the door for indefinite presidential bids. Veteran President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, 81, has been declared the winner of Uganda's January 15th, 2026 presidential election, extending his remarkable hold on power to a 7th term. Museveni's victory underscores his continued dominance of Ugandan politics, a tenure that stretches back 4 decades and makes him one of Africa's longest-serving leaders. His new term will now run from 2026 to 2031. The Electoral Commission announced results showing Museveni's National Resistance Movement (NRM) comfortably ahead with 7.9 million votes, equivalent to 71.6% of the total votes cast. His main challenger, Robert Yagulanyi, popularly known as Bobi Wine, received 2.7 million votes. So that is there. That is there with the Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. That is there in Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. So in January 1986, Museveni seized power and effectively ended years of political violence in the East African nation. His initial years in office focused on stabilizing the economy and ending protracted insurgencies, particularly in the north of the country. Under the 1995 Constitution, Uganda established a framework for multi-party democracy and set presidential term and age limits. So that is the election that was just concluded in Uganda. Another heading or another article in the Star. Another article in the Star newspaper. The Star newspaper. The Star newspaper. This is the Star again, the Star newspaper. This is the Star. And the story that comes here is the U.S. judge restricts ICE response to Minneapolis protesters. The legal order comes ahead of planned weekend protests and counter-protests in the city and ongoing immigration enforcement actions. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security said it is taking measures to protect officers from rioters. On Friday, Minnesota officials urged protesters expected to take to the streets this weekend to stay orderly and peaceful. A U.S. federal judge has issued an order limiting the crowd to control tactics that can be used by immigration and customs enforcement agents towards peaceful and unobstructive protesters in Minneapolis. That is there. Judge Catherine Menendez ruled on Friday night that federal agents can't arrest or rather pepper spray peaceful demonstrators, including those monitoring and observing ICE agents. The ruling comes ahead of planned weekend protests against the widespread immigration action in the city and follows the fatal shooting of Rini Good by an ICE agent earlier this month. So that is United States of America, a judge has now ordered that protesters should be left to protest peacefully. ODM's Linda Ground Mobilization Western Tour. ODM's Linda Ground Mobilization Western Tour off to a strong start. Okay, this is a story here. ODM launches the Linda Ground Mobilization Tour in Western Kenya to consolidate support ahead of the 2027 general election. Party unity and the proposed UDA coalition remain under scrutiny as leaders differ over the implications of the 10-point agenda. The Orange Democratic Movement kicked off its Western Kenya support mobilization tour on Saturday, marking an early push to consolidate its traditional strongholds ahead of next year's general elections. Okay, ODM will only be strong if they don't split. Let me look at what is happening in the Standard. Let me look at what is happening in the Standard newspaper. Let me look at what is happening in the Standard newspaper. But I maintain that ODM, without unity, ODM will be a shell. They must be united for them to regain their strongholds. Without ODM being together, they risk losing their constituencies and strongholds. Let me look at the Standard. Or let me look at the Taifa Leo. Let me look at the Taifa Leo. Let me look at the Taifa Leo. Jeshi la Uganda la kanusha kumteka kiongozi wa upinzani Bobi Wine. Okay. Wamatangi ya laumu siasa, mali ya mamilioni kibomolewa Nairobi. Wamatangi ailaumu siasa, mali yake ya mamilioni kibomolewa Nairobi. Gavana wa Kiambu Kimani Wamatangi ametaja ubomoaji wa biashara zake zilizo karibu na uwanja wa Nyayo kama mateso ya kisiasa, akisema amekuwa akikodisha ardhi hiyo kutoka shirika la reli Kenya kwa kipindi cha miaka 30 iliyopita. Gavana huyo alitaja ubomoaji huo kama mateso ya kisiasa, akidai ni sehemu ya juhudi za serikali kumhangaisha na kumzuia kutekeleza majukumu au wajibu wake kwa wananchi wa Kiambu. Namna hiyo tu. Acha tuangalie gazeti, tuangalie Taifa Leo. Taifa Leo. Kwa takriban miongo miwili, mkuu wa mawaziri Musalia Mudavadi na spika wa bunge la kitaifa Moses Wetangula wamekuwa wakiongoza siasa za magharibi mwa Kenya katika kubuni ushirikiano katika ngazi ya kitaifa na kutoa mwelekeo wa kisiasa wa eneo hilo. Okay? Wote wawili wanaonekana kama vigogo wa kisiasa wenye ushawishi mkubwa katika jamii ya Waluya. Wamejipa heshima kutokana na uzoefu wao, ujuzi wa kisiasa na kuunda sera za eneo na taifa kwa jumla. Mudavadi na Wetangula walichukua uongozi wa siasa za magharibi baada ya kifo cha aliyekuwa makamu wa rais Michael Wamalwa mwaka wa 2003. Na tangu wakati huo wameonekana kama viongozi wa kiasili wa magharibi mwa Kenya. Hiyo ni Taifa Leo. Sasa viongozi wengi wanachipuka, kina Salasia, kina Natembea, kina Eugene Wamalwa, ni viongozi ambao wanachipuka, na sasa umaarufu wa kina Mudavadi na Weta unatiwa doa. Alright? Okay, let me look at the Standard newspaper. The Standard newspaper. let me look at the Standard newspaper, the Daily Nation, no, the Standard. Let me look at the Standard newspaper. Muturi questions Ruto's development priorities. Muturi questions Ruto's development priorities. That is Justin Muturi, former Attorney General, former Speaker, former Member of Parliament. He has been in very many elective positions, and I think that one makes Justin Muturi, a very unique figure in terms of politics of this country. Okay. Former Attorney General Justin Muturi has said that Kenya's governance challenges stem from poor sequencing and misplaced priorities, warning against what he described as the government's growing preoccupation with grandiosity. So according to Muturi, development is not defined by what looks modern, but what a society produces. The Standard have also focused on Museveni's Uganda politics, where they said Museveni, Uganda's former revolutionary, entering 5th decade in power. Museveni entering 5th decade in power. Yoweri Museveni has been president longer than most Ugandans have been alive, and shows no sign of giving up his place among the world's longest serving leaders after he won a 7th election on Saturday. Shortly after Museveni took power in 1986, ending years of bloodshed and chaos under tyrannical rules, the young president mused that leaders overstaying their welcome lay at the heart of Africa's problem. But 4 decades later, the introspection is gone, and Museveni, once hailed in the West as a model African leader committed to good governance, has joined the ranks of those he once criticized. His genial demeanor and penchant for false parables belie a past as a wily guerrilla fighter and ruthless political survivor. Museveni used to criticize other presidents who stay in power. Let me go through this one again. Ruto sells Singapore dream in Sagana. Promises more. Promises more. Yesterday, lawyer Jackton Ojwang said that even Singapore encountered a series of problems, corruption scandals, until everybody decided that we are fixing the nation. Okay. Let me check what is happening in the diaspora. Let me check what is happening in the diaspora. In the diaspora, let me check what is happening in the diaspora. Let me check what is happening around the world. Somalia protest expose UAE sport power game in honor of Africa. That is there. We have issue of Yoweri Museveni from school dropout. Museveni re-elected to 7th term. That is there. Uganda's digital iron curtain and the irony of its minority report election. Okay. Oh, I'm yawning. I think I have to end there. I think I have to end here. I think I have to end it here. Or should I continue? Okay, business daily. Let's look at business in the business daily. Let's look at in the business daily. Coop Bank boss Gideon Muriuki buys extra 148 million shares. Okay, that is also a story that is there. Kenya Pipeline boss, I take 6 flights of stairs to my office, run marathons. That is Kenya Pipeline boss. Let market logic prevail in Safaricom's stake. That's an opinion. Let me look at it. That is an opinion in the Business Daily, or rather editorial. Okay. So guys, I think I'll end there. It was very good to interact with you. Once again, this is the political room in Kenya and the world. My name is Moses Otieno, and until next time, my time is up. Tomorrow is another day. For those who tuned in, thank you so much. For those who subscribed, thank you so much. I really am humbled before you. I'm really very happy. It is because of your support that this channel is able to attract the magnitude, the subscribers that it has. And thank you for continuing to subscribe. Thank you for the viewers. Thank you for always commenting. Thank you for always making this channel your home in terms of the stories that beautify the world. Otherwise, have a good time, have a good moment, and tomorrow is another day. My name is Moses Otieno once again, and goodbye for now. Bye.